What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Night Owl coming at you again with another bit of Star Wars content from Overlord DVD. Now, this video in particular, I haven't entirely. I don't watch these before I go into it, but I can only assume that he's talking about like the old school like Spike TV series that was rumored for like a long time before he sold Lucasfilm to Disney. This whole series was supposed to be about like the Coruscant like criminal underworld, and it was supposed to deal with like crazy shit like what they're doing with Maul, like the new animated shit series that they're doing with Maul. It was supposed to deal with him being like a criminal kingpin, and there was supposed to be a like he was supposed to have like a red Twi'lek apprentice. I forget her name for the life of me, man. Like, but I think it was like Darth Talon or something like that. But lost characters, man. Like lost opportunities. For everything that I heard about this TV series, like growing up as a kid, was like everything that I ever wanted in a Star Wars TV show. Like the fact that they shit canned that and everything like around it was a really shit move on Disney's part. Like there was also a game back during the same time period that they were developing. It was called Star Wars 1313. It was the same concept, but it dealt with a really young Boba Fett coming up in the bounty hunter space. People want content like that from Star Wars. They want these areas explored that haven't been explored, and they want it done right.
My friends, this is a great time to become a channel member. Every week now, I'm posting uncensored videos exclusively for my channel members, along with custom emojis and live streams for members at the Arch Villain level, where you get to talk to me directly. Please consider supporting this channel by clicking the link in the video description and joining us in our fight to save pop culture. And also, check out our Patreon and Subscribestar pages for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, including Harvey Cthulhu's insane podcasts, photos of my vast toy collection, and members at the Legionnaire level receive a signed photo, membership card, and certificate signed by me. You'll find the Patreon link in the video description as well. Thanks for watching, my friends, and now on to the video. Greetings, my friends. I am Dicta Van Doomcock, the future ruler of Earth, broadcasting from my hidden base at the center of the Earth, and I am here today to share some news with you about a Star Wars rumor that sounded too insane to be true. A rumor that I dismissed years ago as completely impossible. A rumor that has now apparently been confirmed as all too real. My friends, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, back before I started my YouTube channel, back before Lucas sold Disney to Star Wars, George Lucas was rumored to be working on a Star Wars TV series that would blow people's minds. A series called Star Wars Underworld that would go to great lengths to flesh out the Star Wars universe, reveal untold stories, and bring an adult sophistication to the Star Wars franchise. Now, at the time, I didn't find the idea that Lucas would want to bring Star Wars to television all that far-fetched. After all, he did authorize the Star Wars Holiday Special, a project that turned out so badly he banned it from ever being shown again. But when I heard this rumor back in the day, I figured, well, I guess George has licked his wounds sufficiently at this point to risk going back onto the airwaves, this time without Harvey Korman doing shtick and B. Arthur doing a painful version of the Cantina Band song with lyrics.
The funny thing is I think it was last Christmas or the Christmas before that. I actually had the opportunity to watch the Star Wars Christmas special. I forget if they like put it on Disney Plus or if they were just like showing it for some reason. But literally I had me, my wife and kids, like my whole family, we sat down and like watched through the whole fucking thing. And like yeah, it was bad, but it's the good kind of bad, like I guess like a lot of people like take Star Wars seriously. Like I mean I do too. Like don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like horrible. You know, it wasn't like burn the franchise down horrible. It was funny. It had its own little bit of charm. It was a little bit cringe, but like there ain't nothing wrong with that. Like it's a Christmas special that they put on the fly in the 70s. So it is what it is. It was funny. I thought it was funny.
But it was the alleged details of this rumor that firmly convinced me at the time that this was all bullshit. It was claimed back in the day that George Lucas had 3 seasons of completed scripts ready to shoot. 3 seasons! No one does that, folks. Hell, you're lucky if you get a pilot script done ahead of time.
You know exactly who does that type of shit? George Lucas. George Lucas wrote out like the entirety of the Star Wars like mythos, like the entirety of the movies that he wanted to portray as his Star Wars. He wrote the entire thing out. He had 1 through 6 written out entirely before he even started filming A New Hope. He really wanted to start at the beginning, but they did not have like the technology that they needed for just the scale of what the prequels were. So that's why they started in the middle with the original trilogy.
Along with maybe 13 log lines for possible future episodes. But according to this rumor, he had 3 full seasons of scripts that were finished and ready to shoot. I found the notion preposterous at the time, and I dismissed it from my mind.
Hell, who can blame you, Doomcock? A lot of shows these days can't even figure out an ending, even after they've been running for years, much less before they sell the series. Look at Stranger Things, Breaking Bad, Lost. So, when they said they had 3 seasons of completed scripts lying around, the only sane response to that is, in fact, the aforementioned bullshit.
And yet, Harvey, oddly enough, sometimes even the most far fetched rumors prove out to be true. Yesterday, TV Line published an article titled George Lucas's canceled Star Wars series could have completely changed the franchise. And in that article, a number of genuine and even famous sources confirm that this rumor was all too real. In this article, they reveal, quote, I think we had over 60 scripts, like third draft scripts, McCallum recalled, Rick McCallum, the producer. These were dark scripts. They were sexy. They were violent. They were absolutely wonderful, complicated, challenging scripts. Across these dozens of scripts was a cavalcade of ambitious ideas, including Emperor Palpatine's backstory, the rise of the rebellion, and the depths of the galactic underworld, which McCallum says would have blown up the whole Star Wars universe, and Disney would have definitely never offered George to buy the franchise if they had ever seen the light of day before Lucas ultimately sold the franchise to Disney. What the series would have covered has been pieced together over the years through comments from collaborators and artists who worked at Lucasfilm, unquote. Notice, my friends, McCallum claims they had over 60 completed scripts, third draft scripts ready to go. Who does this kind of thing?
I guess George Lucas does, dude. Guy had more money than King Midas on a good day after coming home from Vegas loaded. He could dole it out to writers as he pleased. But why have none of these scripts ever seen the light of day?
I guess they're in the Lucasfilm vaults, Harvey Cthulhu, guarded by death lasers, crocodiles, flying monkeys, and more death lasers. Even worse than Jack Benny's vault, as revealed in I Love Lucy, I think it was. And yet, even so, this article does provide even more details of what we might have seen in this series. Quote, the series would have explored the criminal underworld of Coruscant, the political hub of the empire that rules the galaxy. A short piece of test footage was released that showed stormtroopers and Coruscant citizens moving through bustling streets as a hidden Jedi slipped past undetected. This espionage-style storytelling hints at a world that would later be explored by Rogue One, which was originally developed by screenwriter John Knoll as a storyline for the series, unquote. Sadly, none of these scripts has leaked, my friends. But that said, some of those who were given the chance to read the scripts were able to recall details in this article. Quote, Cory Barlog, the creative director for Sony's God of War series, recalled visiting Lucasfilm and being allowed to read scripts for the series. In an interview with GamesBeat, He said they made the Emperor a sympathetic figure who was wronged by his heartless woman. She's this hardcore gangster, and she just totally destroyed him as a person. I almost cried while reading this. This is the Emperor, the lightning out of the fingers Emperor. That's something magical, unquote.
Of all the gin joints and all the Death Stars and all the galaxy, she walks into mine.
See, like, I kind of like that particular piece of lore didn't really see the light of day. I kind of like when we have a villain that is actually a villain. Like I'm tired of like tragic heroes or like misunderstood like the ends justify the means villains, right? Like I talked about that with like Fable and Lord Lucian in one of my previous videos, but like he was such like a anticlimactic like ends justify the means villain. Like at the end of the day, Lucian was literally just like a grieved husband and father who wanted his family back, right? And he was gonna break the world to do it. Like that shit's alright, but like it's literally every single fucking villain now. Now, the thing with Palpatine, especially the way they outline it in like the Plagueis novels, is he was always fucking off. He was always evil. He started off as like a street rat on fucking Naboo. Like he was born in the noble families, but like, he was literally like the kind of like the spoiled entitled rich kid type character. Like he literally like in the novels like killed like a whole family doing like some sort of like street speeder race, and then like bribed like Naboo police and officials to like drop the fucking case and charges. And then the dude later goes on to literally murder his entire family out of like just hatred and cold blood and spite. Like Palpatine was born a fucking menace. And I liked that about Palpatine. He was always fucking evil. He always knew what he wanted. I hate when they take really good bad characters and water them down to like some sort of like heartbreak or like moral or amoral injustice. It ruins the character, right? Like you gotta have some defining line between good and bad.
And oh man, wouldn't that have gotten fans pissed off? Or at least the wokies these days, who would say, oh great, so it was an evil woman behind all of this all along.
I guess we'll never know for sure, Harvey, but what we do know from this article is a lot of name writers were brought into the project, including Ron Moore himself, the Star Trek Next Generation veteran and the creator of the Battlestar Galactica reboot. Ron himself confirms the existence of this project, folks. Quote, on an appearance on Katie Sackhoff's The Sackhoff Show, Ron Moore explained that Lucas planned to develop and shoot the series entirely on his own dime. In George's mind, once I produced it, I'm just going to take it to a network and say, take it or leave it. This is what it is. I don't care what your notes are. I don't care what your thoughts are. It is done. Do you want it? Unquote.
That would have been a bold move indeed, in keeping with George Lucas's strong bias against Hollywood, with all its note givers and project killers. I assume, however, the expense was in the end too daunting for one man, even George Lucas.
That, and I suspect the critical backlash to the prequel trilogy from angry fans, threw a damper on the project, but in the end, it was killed when Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney. Frankly, I'd love to see Disney shoot those scripts exactly as they were written, without any Disneyfication whatsoever, but I doubt this will ever come to be. Perhaps someday the scripts will leak, and we'll be able to see for ourselves this lost and last George Lucas Star Wars project. But for now, this article has given us the closest glimpse we're likely to get. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.
Honestly, it's an interesting thought. Like, a lot of us have known about these like lost scripts for years now, right? And it's something we've always yearned for. Is like that. kind of gritty, dark underbelly of the Star Wars universe. It's touched ever so slightly in the original Star Wars trilogy with just like the criminal dealings on Tatooine and you know how Jabba the Hutt operates and like the slave trade that Anakin was bought out of. Like it's touched very briefly and like even more so in like the Clone Wars series. It gets really kind of like into like how all these criminal elements operate and affect like the lives surrounding them. And the Jedi in the story always kind of like overshadow that, right? So it would have been a nice change of pace to like have something completely focused on just the dark, gritty reality of the Star Wars universe without like the Jedi Knight fucking high space samurai fantasy, you know? Like it's cool, don't get me wrong. Like I love like how the Jedi are. Like in George Lucas Star Wars. But like I said, it would be cool to see like just how bounty hunters operate, how criminal syndicates operate. You know, like just the every day to day dealings, like with how people deal with gangs and survive under that type of fucking shit. One thing I appreciated a lot was in Knights of the Old Republic. How when you go to like the underground levels of Terrace, it just gets worse and worse the deeper you go. And like I would love to see that canonized.